Yes. Here we are once again, which of course means it must be Wednesday at noon Eastern time, which means it's time for the High Noon Hemp Show, the weekly show where we bring you hemp, fashion, comedy, all kinds of stuff. It's sweeping the nation. At least that's what I tell myself in times of despair. Welcome, everyone. You can find us live every Wednesday at noon on the High Noon Hemp Show with the Hemptations Beach Facebook page, the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel, and at Hemptations on Twitter. If you don't want to see us in all of our glory, you just want to hear us in all of our glory, you can do that in the podcast version. Search the High Noon Hemp Show on Podbean, Google Play, and iHeartRadio. I am Stoner Jesus. You can search various things I do on the interwebs. He is the man himself, high above the Hemptations in Sharonville at the Hemp Quarters. It is Beach. How are things this week in the world of Hemptations?
Good. I don't think I'm quite ready. My stuff's just not in the right place. But no, we're sweeping the nation clean of all the bad stuff and bringing in the hemp. That's what we're doing
There you
here
go.
at the High Noon Hemp Show. It's true. Welcome everyone. Thank you for participating today or possibly later at any given day. It's true. I am high above the Sharonville location in the hemp quarters for this week's episode of the High Noon Hemp Show. Woo! Still don't have any sound effects yet, but if we did, we'd have like some clapping, maybe
Yes.
some pump in some fake laughs because I really need to
Laugh
do
track.
that. I need a little laugh track for the High Noon Hemp Show. Things are good. It's kind of again kind of status quo. We're getting to the back to school time of year. Starting to get a little busier there. I think starting to get a little busier from all of the less restrictions, even though we have more stuff still going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I did my Mensa, spoke at the Mensa thing last Friday. That was good. I had an hour scheduled, and I think I went 2 hours total. Well, they had to interrupt my hemp production to have like a meeting as we were there. They just had this little meeting for this sub Mensa organization. And then I went back to my spiel. And again, it was mostly on CBD, but it was the whole thing. It was the same presentation basically, but I added a couple pictures, which I'm going to show at the end of the show this week. Some more graphics. I think people really want to see it. But it was basically my Hemp Week presentation that we did. That's episode 12. No, season 12, episode 4.
Yes.
If you want to go back and watch that, that was a long episode. I went through my whole presentation. So anyway, but the Mensa people were obviously into it all one way or another. It's true. So speaking of that, woo man, hey, I just went zoom.
Right. I know. Welcome to Matthew watching us on Facebook there. Their awesome technology is coming up there. Howdy.
We just got in your face. People said they want to closer up. I don't know why anyone would actually want to see me closer up, but somehow I did have some people tell me that
my face gets really big in the close up.
Mine at least still
even a little box here. I'm really in your face.
Yeah. So, all right, let's jump right into the product spotlight this week. As I like to say, 4 from the store, 1 from my door. As I was saying, back to school, and I showed some backpacks last week. Well, we got a couple more backpacks in. These are from the Himalayan Hemp Company. It's kind of that. It's actually kind of that Tibetan style of weave with hemp. It kind of has its own particular look to it. And so there you have that. If you need a backpack for any reason, there should be a couple different styles of those new to each store. It's I think we're still like right in the middle of summer and hotness and sunniness and stuff. And so I really think the Canna Sun sunscreen, with CBD, definitely is an appropriate product for the season. The sun and UV, I should say UV light, is terrible on a full spectrum for our skin. So you should do your best to block it if you're going to be in it. And what's better to do that than some CBD based sunscreen? So give that a try if you're going to be out in the sun. And I think it's going to be hot and sunny. Well, I don't know about sunny because now we're back to being rainy again. So I don't know about that. But I know we got plenty of summer left in us here in Cincinnati. So depending on where you are, it's hard to say. Here's a new one. We have we drop and we get new CBD drinks semi regularly. It kind of stinks because, like the cider was very popular and then all of a sudden I couldn't get it anymore. But anyway, I digress to this new product we have in the stores 25 milligrams of CBD. That's a good price at $5, without a doubt. You've got blood orange, lemon, raspberry, and blackberry, I believe, are the flavors. And it's just sparkling water. So, there's that is what it is, a new CBD sparkling water to add to all the other CBD drinks that we have. Give them a try, see what you think. The last one, and I know I showed this probably at the beginning of the summer, is the hacky sacks. I think we got plenty of warm weather left. And so there's a couple different styles. You just got kind of your plain woven one over on the left there, and then a couple fancier, I should say. If you're a hacky sacker, then um, the difference. I'm sure of it. So the shelves are full of hacky sacks waiting for your feet to bring you in and kick one around. I'm sure of it. Now the one from my door, as I like to say, is the Manitoba hemp milk. I purchased, I think, like a 6-pack of these from Amazon, and so it does not have to be cold. So they ship it warm, and then I throw it in the fridge when it gets here. Um, and I had a bowl of cereal last night, and I really like this stuff. It's really good. Again, it's pretty much unflavored. It's still, I don't know if it really even kind of has a little bit of a milky taste to it, if you want to call it like from dairy, and we don't, you don't need dairy milk. You shouldn't have dairy milk. That's why I drink hemp milk. Anyway, um, and you should too, is what I meant to say right after that in a commercial voice as well. And again, this is not something we have on the shelves. We should, maybe the next order of Manitoba, because we do need to freshen up our Manitoba. I'll see if I can't get this to put on the shelves to sell, because hemp milk is what you want if you drink milk, and dairy milk is definitely what you don't want. And I've never been a huge fan, and this is, I think a lot of people, and I'm not dissing it, almond milk tastes like almonds. And so, depending on what you're drinking it with, and if you like that taste, that's why I don't drink as much almond milk. Um, you know, I don't. I'm sure they make a soy-based milk, and just again, soy. It comes from all soy, unless it's organic. Comes from a particular company's seed and spray, and is not something you want to put in your body. Again, I'm not here to badmouth anyone. Try some hemp milk if you can. Like I said, I ordered this on Amazon. I think I got like a 6-pack of these, which is kind of good right now because I'm kind of moving around because they're doing construction at my house. So I don't stay there, so I've been staying here. So I can have some here. We have some on the boat. So if we want to enjoy some hemp milk on the boat, we can. So anyway, add it to your diet, um, because it's not bad for you and it's actually good for you. With its protein and omega-6, omega-3, and all the other things that are good for eating milk. So there you have it, folks. On this product spotlight, 4 from the store, 1 from this guy's door.
There you go. So, of course, speaking of sweeping the nation, It is the internet segment that is sweeping the nation, as where hemp and fashion collide in our Beachwear segment, where I ask Beach a very important question. And he thinks about it very seriously, even has a graphic to back up what he's going to say, and he answers when I ask, "What are you wearing, Beach?"
It's true. It's true. If you wonder, how do you wear a different hemp outfit every day? Well, I can show you at least one day a week how I do it
That's
on
right.
the What Do You Wear in Beach segment of the High Noon Hemp Show. It is true. So today I have on one of probably my all-time favorite hats. In all honesty, this is over the years definitely become one of my all-time favorites. It's kind of the Ford symbol because Henry Ford built a car out of hemp. If you don't know, and it says hemp, but it's a fair hemp hat, um, and they are. It's a Velcro in the back, so it's you can adjust it to the perfect size that you want. I know I can't get these anymore. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into Fair Hemp to see if Fair Hemp is even making hemp hats anymore. And so there's on top, and then of course one of my favorite T-shirt companies, Ono, out there at the Enviro Textiles establishment with the Ono T-shirts, and this is one of the older ones. And then of course we printed it here at Planet Everywhere with the Hemptations University. People recently have really been digging my dedicated to higher learning. That's what it says underneath Hemptations University, which has always been. I've always been a very punny guy. It's true. And so, and then you've got Hempy's belt holding up my Prana shorts. Look closely in my pocket there. Of course, you'll see my Green Springs Technology hemp pen. Got some Hemptopia briefs. Of course, you can go to Hemptopia's website and order some of those. We may have some sizes in the store. My Hemp Traders no shows, and then my Rackle shoes. And of course, you can order the Rackles at Hemptations, planeteverywhere.com retail site online. We do not have them in the stores. That's the only product that you can order online, but we don't have in the stores. Of course, you can also go to Rackle to their website, probably just as easily, and order them directly from them. They're great shoes, super light, like 6 ounces or something. It's crazy how light these shoes are. And so far, I am definitely pleased as to the strength. They're holding together. I'm trying to wear them semi regularly since I got them because they're kind of new. Just to see how they break in or break down, and they are definitely breaking in, but they are not breaking down. So there's a couple different hemp shoe companies out there right now that are really dedicated to making a hemp shoe. It's so funny because I just saw Nike. I guess I'll jump right into the news. So there you have it, folks. What are you wearing, Beach? Now you know. I'm going to jump right into the news because I might as well bring this up as we're talking about hemp shoes. Nike is releasing what they're calling the hemp, but there is no hemp on it. It's like, but it's hemp color. So they're describing it as hemp and white, but there is zero hemp on it. After all the time that they've taken to make all these hemp shoes, and if you go back over the last year or so, they've probably released 6 hemp shoes with hemp on them. Even if it was just the tongue or the swoosh or whatever. Um, and then they release what they're nicknaming the hemp, and it doesn't have any hemp on it, I don't think. Yeah, that's the one thing you have to be careful for in the world when you're shopping for hemp stuff, is that hemp is not the color description. I run into this a little bit on eBay when I'm looking for stuff. If you go to Alibaba, you can find hemp toilet paper. But guess what? It's not made out of hemp. It's the color of hemp. If you look a little closer, you'll see they'll tell you it's either wood pulp, which you obviously don't want, or whatever. But um, again, when they describe it as hemp, they're describing the color, not the material. And so that's the That's the toughest things a lot of times, especially when you're looking for material in any way. A lot of times you got to be careful that they're not just telling you the color, and that make sure and verify what the material is in any type of clothing that may describe itself as hemp or linens or anything. Um, just to make sure, because hemp is a color as well as a object, or the object. The color is obviously based on the object. It's true. It is true. A lot of times we just call it natural because it's the natural color. And so, natural colored hemp products is what you want, not hemp colored natural products. No, that's not true either. You do want hemp colored natural products. um, but anyway, um, let's see here. Let's jump right into this. Let's see the online magazine, the manual. This outdoor brand shows that making eco-friendly water gear is possible, and so this is the Astral hemp shoe, and of course, Astral has been making. I have a couple pairs of Astrals, but they've been making and using hemp in their shoes for quite a while, and so they usually make their hemp shoes usually make it onto a lot of the eco-friendly camping, eco-friendly type of shoe lists or whatever because of that. And so in the article they say because it significantly lowers the impact on the environment, hemp is durable, breathable, and antimicrobial. All things I have mentioned before and will mention again as to why you want to wear it, especially on your feet. You definitely want something breathable on your feet. And of course, you want something just like I was mentioning with trying to break in my shoes. You want something durable. You don't want to be out in the middle of the woods and all of a sudden your shoes falling apart on you. Be sure that's the last place you want to be when your shoes start falling apart. It is true. And so, find yourself a pair of Astrals. I'll see. I'm pretty sure that I'm sure they have a website to go to. I don't know if I have that listed on the second page of the Hemptation at hemptations.com, but I will get it up there to remind you if you forget later and you want to go to hemptations.com and be reminded of the things that I may or may not have talked about on the High Noon Hemp Show, which is what we're doing now. Thanks again, folks, for watching. We do appreciate it. It's all for fun. It's all for fun because we love hemp that much. Eco Watch article: Why this plant could save the world is, of course, all about hemp. And we've been saying that for a long time, and I don't think that anybody that's not educated could possibly believe it's true, but it is true. And I'll keep saying it once again until everything happens to where we do save the world by making everything we can out of hemp and living happy lives, being surrounded by this great, great product that we should all be using every day. That's why we're here once again. This is very interesting. A study recently published in the Journal of Affective Disorders found that higher doses of cannabis with higher concentrates of CBD, so higher doses cannabis with higher concentrates of CBD, were associated with larger reductions in compulsions. Okay, so this was an actual study that was being done using cannabis, all forms of cannabis, THC, CBD, and all this, for reducing OCD symptoms. And what they found is cannabis itself, THC, was effective on a short-term basis, and it helped like 50% of the people in the study on a short-term basis. And then once again, the higher the CBD content seems to be that the better the result they got. Which does make sense. And once again, because I think what this once again shows is that CBD can calm the brain. and does calm the brain. Um, and so, again, I believe that's why we're seeing so much effectiveness with our customers. And anxiety, as I've always said, anxiety is one of the three main reasons why customers come into Hemptations to get CBD. You know, and so the other two is its anti-inflammation properties and its sleep aids. The and then there's 100 other reasons that are smaller and less, but those the three main of that. That anxiety. I think that helping focus the brain, helping getting the brain in homeostasis, so to speak, is something that we're continuing to find, and this study proves once again that CBD does. That's part of why it is so successful um, with those anxiety things and those even those other semi-related stuff. Um, and so uh, there's more studies, and trying to find them more, and there they are. Someone mentioned that the other day at the Mensa thing, and I was like, well, there are studies, but they're smaller, and they're not like being published in the big main medical journals. But there's these little small journals that these CBD studies are getting published in, or they're just more and more proof. And cannabis, period, regardless of what medicine or therapeutic value you may be trying to get out of cannabis. Popping up every day. Um, I feel terrible for this grocery store. Of course, this could have happened in the United States like 20 years ago when the DEA was threatening to raid grocery stores here in the United States for having hemp products because they wouldn't put 0% THC on the label. But apparently, this Lidl store, and Lidl is like one of the top 5 largest grocery stores in the world, according to this article. And so I'm sure they're owned by one of the big, huge conglomerates that owns most grocery stores across the planet. Anyway, it was raided by the German police for CBD products. Now, you say, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. CBD is legal in Germany. Okay. And so they're still trying to actually figure out. Now, apparently, I guess someone was very confused and didn't decide to investigate. And again, it's probably because they had these CBD brownies on the shelves, and a customer comes by and they see them. They're like, well, what's going on with this? Is this even legal? And then all of a sudden they're complaining, and the police would go run in there because they think it's something that's not. What's really interesting is the maker of these food products, and I believe brownies was one of them. And again, it's because it was brownies, probably the ignorance all started because they were brownies. Could have put it in anything else, and they probably would have been like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." But anyway, um, they were using the isolate even, and so there's once again when you use the isolate, 99.9% CBD. There's no THC to be found in there at all, and so. Um, I suppose this just shows that once again there is still quite a bit of law enforcement ignorance when it comes to CBD all over the world. Um, right now they're in Kentucky. They're going through some law enforcement ignorance over Delta 8. And again, it's 100% legal. But law enforcement, they can do whatever they want. It's up to the judge to decide after law enforcement gets involved. That's how they feel about it. They were under the impression that it's not legal. So that's why we arrested these people. The judge going to have to work it out now. Anyway, it's just ignorance. It's just ignorance, one way or another. And obviously, it's going on all over the world still. And again, CBD is just starting to become accepted and legal, so to speak, all over the world as well. So it's good to see we're not the only ones doing stupid stuff. Here's a picture of an interesting product. I was, again at the Mensa talking about investigating getting terpene-based products into the stores. Again, terpenes are another part of cannabis. Um, Terpenes give cannabis its flavor profile. Terpenes are found in other foods and plants, to my understanding. This one is, and this is actually little dip pouches, has no CBD, no THC, and no nicotine. So I don't know what they're using as their base to put the terpenes in. Um, this particular one is myrcene, and I believe they're using four other common terpene. I think flavonoids. I don't know if they even call them flavonoids. I'm not sure what the specific term is other than terpenes. But again, what we're also finding is, this one has this therapeutic value and this one has this therapeutic value. Uh, and so, and I don't know if they were talking about, I think they were talking about the myrcene when they were saying that this one is very much better for probably sleep and anxiety as well, because it's kind of I don't want to call it a depressant, but acts as a depressant, whereas it kind of brings you down as opposed to gives you energy. And again, we're just now starting to really work out all these terpene profiles as to what does this, what does limonene do, and what is beta carotenool. And I know I'm not pronouncing these right, but it's close. Um, I should know specifically how to pronounce them, and I will learn um, specifically how to pronounce the terpenes. And I'm going to do a little focus on possibly learning a little bit more about terpenes and educating you guys on those, because it is important to the hemp industry. Because if we can get terpenes from hemp, which we should be able to, it's kind of a interesting thing, because again, we're working backwards. We're breeding the THC out of these strains, and hopefully boosting the terpenes and the CBD and all that, and then we have to extract it from there to make to the products or put on the over the counter. So I know that I can get terpenes, but the question is where the terpenes extracted from THC cannabis or CBD cannabis, which is the difference between whether it's legal or not, even though it should basically just be the isolate. So if I just get the isolate of a terpene, there's no chance of anything else being in there anyway. So it really shouldn't matter, as I've said, because the THC content should be based on the final product, not the plant flower, because that just makes sense. If we can extract these other cannabinoids from a THC and isolate them, shouldn't matter whether that plant was 30% THC or not. If there's no THC in the extraction of the isolate or cannabinoid or the terpene or whatever it may be. And so I should be able to legally buy terpenes, no matter where they were extracted from. I guess, if I could tell the customer they were extracted from orange peels, someone's supposed to have a CBD product with orange peels, if you don't know, or extracted from orange peels. We're still keeping an eye on that. But anyway, what difference does it make if I put it on the shelf and if it doesn't have any THC or CBD, then it's just terpenes. It's safe to go home and add to their food if they want to flavor it in a certain way or whatever, or even add to their own vape blend to flavor naturally, as opposed to going out and buying vape stuff that's flavored with who knows what. Natural, doubtful. Synthetic, highly probable. Again, this is a natural, terpenes they will become more and more popular in the natural flavoring world. Mark my words there. Especially if we can extract them in high levels from industrial hemp. So that was one of the things with the show Bong Appetit, which is a really good show. And it's all they do is cook with cannabis for the most part. They come up, and in the refrigerator they had jars of just terpenes, and this was years ago. Really before the terpene thing was really starting to get big. Um, but they had all the terpenes each way, and that's like, wow, that's super cool. Anyway, there you have it. Here is the pic, as I promised earlier, of the buildings. And so if you start at the top left corner, this is the very first hemp house in Asheville, North Carolina, in the United States. It was built. It's the White House, um, built in Asheville, North Carolina, probably over 20 years ago at this point. Again, the parents were investigating the cleanest home to build their highly sensitive child, and what they came up with was hemp. And so, that's a testament to doing some research right there. We're just now, 20 years later, starting to see hempcrete construction. This building here was the one in France. I just showed it to the right of that public looking building. That's the building in France that I just showed on the store, made with the hemp blocks that locked into place. Um, you've got your little adobe um, looking home there, which I really like because it shows how you can color the hempcrete. And so you can have different colored hempcrete walls or whatnot, in your home. And then, this last is just a big, huge, I mean, that is a big, massive house. And once again, that's the house being built by the wood company worker guy. He's like custom wood stuff. You can see from the railings and how his porches are going to be really nice. But he decided to use hempcrete for most of the house. And so um, that's just super cool, one way or another. This next pick is, I talk a lot about hemp cars. I was talking about the Henry Ford car with the Ford hat. Boom, it all plays. This top left corner here, that's Henry Ford taking a sledgehammer to the bumper of a hemp car to prove its strength. And my understanding is the sledgehammer bounced right off, um, and they went about their business. Now that car also ran on hemp fuel, which was the double cool part of it. And of course, it never went to production because hemp had been made illegal in the United States, and he wasn't going to import either one of those materials to build the car. The car to the right of that's a Lotus. That's part of the Eco Elise model, and that whole middle stripe going down the hood there, that's all hemp composite. The Kestrel down in the left corner never was made, but that was like a really small little car in Canada that has been in production for I don't know how many years, but I don't believe they've ever actually made the vehicle, which is a bummer because that was probably the first hemp car that the average person might be able to afford. And I would have done my best to have one of those going around town in my little hemp car. Uh, the red vehicle, that's the custom made. That's the one that's on the Toyota frame, but he custom made the body. That's also that car is semi famous. It was on Jay Leno's car show, and again on Jay Leno's show, the owner of the vehicle, the guy that made the vehicle, he just beats on the fender with his hands, and just to prove how strong it is. And I guess that really depends on how strong he is. But he was felt safe about it. And then the station wagon, the Mercedes wagon, that was actually a vehicle that ran around the United States years ago using hemp fuel. Um, and so I forget it's like 12, 15,000 miles they put on it. I think they averaged 21 or so miles per gallon, using 600 gallons of hemp oil on the whole trip. Um, and so again, proving the proof is in the pudding, as they say. The proof is in the hemp car. That all the things I say are true. We should be doing them, and they have been done. And so we continue to support that. Last little bit of news is a Scottish company. It's kind of fun because if it's not Scottish, it's crap. A Scottish company is making a product called Indie Breath or Indie Breathe, Indie Breath, but it's carbon negative insulation using United Kingdom grown hemp. And so once again, it's a product that's used daily in construction insulation. And again, Europe, France particularly, um, is huge with hemp insulation, using hemp as insulation. Again, all natural, sustainable, all those things. Um, and so this is really cool that this new plant's opening up somewhere in Scotland to make the best, or at least not crap, uh, hemp insulation. No, no hemp insulation is crap. But if it's not Scottish, it's crap. I said that just the other day because someone was flying their Scottish flag at the marina. It's not Scottish, it's crap. And I think that was Saturday Night Live, possibly.
I think.
Um, yeah. So anyway, um, there you have it. That's the glorious news. Not a whole lot of events. Um, I don't, I do want to say locally, if you don't, and I talk about it every once in a while, but I'd like to invite everyone to get involved if they would like. The first Tuesday of every month is the medical marijuana, and this is all part of Meetup. So you can go to meetup.com and find the local medical marijuana, and you can join and come. And the reason I say that, not because I have anything to do with medical marijuana, but Bonnie, the host, she asked me from the very origin of doing this if I would go and talk to people about hemp and CBD and all that stuff. And so now I'm telling you, if you live in the Cincinnati area and you want to get involved with that, it is down at, pretty sure Mad Tree. I've been there, I don't know how many times I have to think about it, down in Oakley, again, first Tuesday of every month. And you want to go to Meetup and join that. And then you can say, yeah, I'm coming. You can join the medical marijuana. You'll get updates. This weekend, tomorrow, no, 2 days, you got the Southern Hemp Expo in Nashville, Tennessee. So if you're anywhere near Nashville, you can go to what is being called the first Southern Hemp Expo. I don't know if it's the same people as the other Southern Hemp Expo. And so there may be some confusion there, but that's the one in Nashville, Tennessee. Also, this weekend in Cleveland, you've got the the 21st, you've got the Ohio Cannabis Health and Business Summit at the International Exposition Center in Cleveland. Beginning of September 2nd through the 4th, you have the Southern Hemp Expo in Raleigh at the Raleigh Convention Center in Raleigh, North Carolina. Now, I'm pretty sure the one this weekend is the big one. It's the one you probably want to go to if you can as well. And then also in September, September 9th and 10th, you've got the Ohio Kentucky Cannabis Industrial Marketplace here at the Duke Energy Center here in Cincinnati. September 11th, another Ohio event that I really like. And what's interesting about this is I've seen a couple other articles about, like one was even titled, "You want to get your hemp from a berry farm," or "You want to go pick your hemp from a berry farm." And we're seeing this pick your own hemp flower, CBD flower, whatever. I've seen this before. But this one is Flowers, Berries, and Hemp Farm Tour. I'm not saying you can pick any of them. From 10 to 4 at Creek's Edge Farm at the Creek's Edge Farm Retreat in Georgetown, Ohio. But, that would be really fun to be able to go pick your own, all those flowers, berries, and hemp. And then end of September 25th, you get the Cannabis Health, Arts, and Music Fair at the here again another local event from 2 to 10 at the Woodburn Brewing Company in Cincinnati, Ohio. So there you have it. I am going to end. I do have a thought. I didn't have any questions, but I do have a thought. And in this thought, I will show this picture. Um, this is a picture of Beagle Library. The Beagle Library is one of a very small amount of circular libraries located at Heidelberg College. You say, Beach, what does this have to do with hemp? What in the heck could this possibly have to do with hemp? Well, this is literally the building that started me on my true researching of industrial hemp. So I picked up a book, The Emperor Wears No Clothes, at a normal festival. That really sent me on my journey to want to know as much as I could about industrial hemp. Beagle Library, I went to Heidelberg College. Beagle Library, again, one of the only circular libraries, just so you know. This is where I went and spent many hours uh, really doing some research on industrial hemp for future speeches, including the speech I did to graduate from Heidelberg for my communications degree, which is on industrial hemp. So, my thought is this: do some research, do as much research as you can on industrial hemp. When I send people down that path and then all of a sudden they're looking into it, it's crazy. And that's the same thing that happened to me. And once you start finding one fact out, then all of a sudden you're like, wow, holy jeez. Then you got all these other facts that send you. There's so much to learn about it. Um, you know, because it can help your business, it can help you, it can help the planet, it can help everything. Um, and so, the whole reason I can sit here confidently every Wednesday for the High Noon Hemp Show and babble about hemp like I do is all because of the 25 years or so, 30 years, it was in fact 30 years ago, um, uh, of research. And I still don't get bored. 30 years of research in industrial hemp. Probably the best thing that could happen is Stoner Jesus asking me if I wanted to do a TV show.
Yep.
I'm getting out my bent up hemp knowledge, because it just staying bottled in, especially after the COVID. It's good because I haven't been doing as many speeches, but I do feel like I got to get that out, and so and hemp is an unbelievable natural resource that we just have to continue to strive to educate ourselves, use, and make everything better. So there you have it. There is my beach thought. Do the research. Don't just take my word for it. There's all kinds of research out there. I was going to try to do that in Bootsy's voice, but I don't think I could. Don't take my word for it. I don't know. It almost sounds the same. I don't know, Bootsy and I don't think I can do Bootsy's voice. Oh, and then guess what else the High Noon Hemp Show? Pop culture references that you may or may not get.
Right. Variety, a wide variety.
Go do the research on those too. Well, everybody, I sure appreciate you watching. As I always do, we do this for fun. And, if you're watching later, thank you for doing that. And just like always, reduce, reuse, recycle, make everything else out of hemp. Having hemptations.
See you all next week.